We've all been there, right? It's late, you're exhausted, and there's just this mountain of homework staring you down. In this explainer, we're not just going to talk about how to get it done, we're going to build a plan to totally conquer it so you can actually get your evenings back.
So let's start with a feeling that is probably super familiar. A student named David just put it perfectly. You know, that late night exhaustion where you're so fried, the only thing you can possibly think about is just going to bed. If that feeling of being completely buried under a pile of assignments sounds like you, hey, you are not alone. But the good news? There is a way out. And you can think of this explainer as your treasure map to digging yourself out, but in a smarter, more strategic way.
Now, before we get to the how, let's talk for a second about the why. Because to really solve a problem, it helps to kind of reframe it first. So why do teachers give us homework anyway? I promise you, it's not just to keep you busy.
Well, the source we're looking at today highlights these 4 key reasons. Yeah, it expands your knowledge, but it's also designed to build these huge life skills. We're talking responsibility, time management, and maybe most importantly, to make the stuff you learned in class actually stick. And this brings us to a really cool idea. Think of your homework as a workout. Seriously. Every time you wrestle with a problem, you're not just looking for an answer. You are literally building and strengthening new connections inside your brain. Okay, so if homework is a workout, you're gonna need a training plan, right? So let's get into the practical stuff. The toolkit for working smarter, not harder. And here it is, a super clear 5-step plan. These are the pillars for a really solid homework strategy. So let's break them down, one by one. Step 1 is all about planning ahead. The source we're using frames it with this quote from Proverbs: "The plans of the diligent surely lead to success." So what does that look like in real life? It means getting your supplies ready before you sit down and finding that one spot where you can really truly focus. All right, for step 2, organizing your work, here's the thing. There's no single right way to do it. You have to know yourself. Are you the kind of person who likes to eat the frog first, tackle the biggest challenge to get it over with, or do you prefer to knock out a few easy wins to build up some momentum? Both work. You just have to pick the style that's right for you. And this quote from Heidi, oh, it just hits a nail on the head. A simple to-do list can take that huge, overwhelming cloud of stuff I have to do and turn it into a step-by-step process. It puts you right back in the driver's seat. Now, on to step 3, get to work. Our source material puts it pretty bluntly. Be industrious, not lazy. This is all about sidestepping that procrastination trap. I mean, the work isn't going to disappear. It just gets way more stressful the longer you put it off. Step 4 is, let's be honest, maybe the biggest challenge for all of us in this day and age, staying focused. The source is so clear on this. Those digital distractions, your phone buzzing, notifications popping up, they can literally double the amount of time it takes to get your work done. Mastering your focus means less stress and, believe it or not, a lot more free time. And finally, step 5, being balanced. This really boils down to 2 key things. First, you've got to know when to take a break. Just stepping away for a few minutes can actually make you more productive. And second, know when to ask for help. If you're just consistently buried, talk to your teachers. They can't help you if they don't know you're struggling.
Okay, so that's the 5-step plan. Now let's see how this all plays out with some advice from other students. This is where the theory gets real.
Here's Angelique, and she is a perfect example of that easy first method from step 2. She shows how just getting a couple of small wins under your belt can give you that psychological boost, that momentum you need to take on the bigger, more frustrating stuff.
And then you've got Joel, who is just living and breathing step 4. He doesn't just try to ignore distractions, he actively gets rid of them. Turning off the phone, unplugging the console. That's a conscious choice he's making to create an environment where he can actually get work done. So when you put all of this together, you start to see something really important. These strategies, they're about way more than just finishing your assignments for the night. This quote from Austin really gets to the absolute heart of it. Every single time you manage your schedule, organize your tasks, and push through a tough assignment, you are practicing the exact skills, responsibility, diligence, time management that are going to be so essential for the rest of your life. So the main takeaway is this 5-step plan. Look, it's not about being perfect. It's about taking back control. Plan, organize, start, focus, and find your balance. That is how you own this process. And we'll end on this final thought. You can't always control how much homework you get, that's true. But you can absolutely control how you do it. And just remember, the real prize for working smarter isn't just a better grade, it's getting your time back.
So the only question is, what are you going to do with it?